An all-new win for NeoBrand. Today we're playing a convoluted loop that wins using cards like Worldspine Wurm, Witherbloom Apprentice, Chord of Calling, and Endurance. Let's go check it out. This video is proudly sponsored by Card Market. This is the new NeoBrand, and I am so excited to showcase it today. But before we get into that new spicy win, let's just talk about how the deck works. So we want to play Allosaurus Rider for free. You can exile 2 green cards from your hand in order to do so. From there, you want to play either Neoform or the Eldritch Evolution to sacrifice that Allosaurus Rider, which allows you to search your library for the only copy of Griselbrand. Okay, so you're playing 1 Griselbrand. What if you draw it? Well, then you have a Ghalta here that puts it from your hand onto the battlefield. But either way, you put Griselbrand onto the table. Okay, from there you draw a bunch of cards, and then you play Nourishing Shoal. And now you can gain life by exiling this large worm and then drawing more cards. Eventually you'll play another Nourishing Shoal. Maybe you'll put one on top of your deck using this Noxious Revival, and then you'll draw more cards. Eventually you'll have no deck left. Okay, and now we get into the new win. So you can play all 4 copies of Allosaurus Rider, and if you need to, you could sacrifice and then endurance them back, so that way you want all 4 in play alongside with your untapped Griselbrand. All right, so now you'll have 5 untapped creatures. You move to cleanup. You discard a bunch of cards, and then one of those cards needs to be Worldspine Wurm. Okay, so when you discard Worldspine Wurm on the end step due to hand size, it will create a trigger that gives you priority. This is important. And it happens a lot because in the old version of this deck list that plays Thassa's Oracle, people kept on asking in the comment section, why do you need the Worldspine Wurm? If you don't have it, you never get priority back, which means that you're now in your opponent's untap step, and they could have access to counter spells or burn to kill you, a bunch of different things. So if you want to win on the same turn, which is relevant for Veil of Summer Protection, then you need to be able to win with Worldspine Wurm's trigger on the stack. Okay, so we got that down. Then you'll play Chord of Calling, tapping your 5 creatures, so 4 Allosaurus Riders and the Griselbrand. You'll put Witherbloom Apprentice onto the table. So whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, each opponent loses 1 and you gain 1. This is similar to that old Gutshot build that we were playing before, except now it's green. And you could just play Thassa's Oracle and win. That's certainly fine. But why would you play Witherbloom Apprentice instead? 1, it's green in your Allosaurus Rider deck. Okay, so that seems kind of silly, but honestly, I think that just means that it's better. Because now you can exile a card from your hand and not get stuck with an uncastable Thassa's Oracle. Or if it gets exiled due to Ragavan, we're playing 2 copies of Witherbloom Apprentice because you can exile 1 to Rider. Like, it really is a benefit. And then you'll be able to do your loops that you would before, like the Grape Shot loops, where you can just cast a bunch of Nourishing Shoals and Summoner's Pacts, even Pact and Negation, to drain your opponent. But unlike the Grape Shot loop, this one's much faster because each loop your opponent can lose 7, 8 life. So you only actually have to endurance loop like 3 or 4 times, which makes it a little bit cleaner and less boring to watch. So that is the deck list. You also have the Noxious Revival as another free spell you could play just for what it's worth. And that's how the deck functions, but we have some major level ups here today. So we're playing a mana base with Basic Island and Basic Forest in it. This is for Magus of the Moon, Harbinger of the Seas, Blood Moon, all that good stuff. And one thing that I found nice about the old Generous Ent list that I tried back when Hedge Maze came out was that you could search for the Basic Forest against Harbinger of the Seas, and you can just search for the Generous Ent using your Summoner's Pact. So that way, if your opponent taps out for the Harbinger, you can punish them by searching your deck for the Forest and then making them dead. Additionally, you do have this Disciple of Freyles. So if you just need 1 more mana in order to win on Neoform on turn 2, but you have 2 copies of Summoner's Pact, you could search your library for this creature, put it into play, untapped as a land, and then win the game. So those are some big upgrades today. I think Witherbloom Apprentice being a green card is also another upgrade. Elven Farsight is back because now our deck is 1/3 creatures, so you're likely to hit on this, making it a super preordain that's also green. The green count in this build is super high, which is what you need for your Allosaurus Rider, your Nourishing Shoal and Endurance deck list. So the more green cards, the better. In the sideboard, we have Gemstone Caverns, so that way on the draw, we can still win turn 1 at a faster rate versus decks like Energy. And then you have Into the Floodmaw, which is an upgrade over something like Snapback. I even considered 4 of this today over the Force of Vigor, but I decided I'd keep Force of Vigor just for green count purposes, but I could be wrong. Maybe you do want 4 copies of Into the Floodmaw, but that is the deck list that we'll be playing today. Let me know what you think of this new win in the comment section down below, and, without any further ado, let's just hop on in and play some NeoBrand. I'll see you in the first match. Don't go anywhere. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicswurm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicswurm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Welcome to match number 1. We're on the play. There's a few things that I forgot to mention in the deck tech that I'll just do now. When I get rambling, sometimes I lose track of things I wanted to mention. So the Witherbloom Apprentice combo, I have to shout out Canister for that innovation. Canister played it in the Magic Online League, and I thought it made a lot of sense. So that's why we're doing that today. And then the second thing is, why would you play this over the Sorin build that I debuted 4 months ago? Sorin loses to Veil of Summer. This build does not. So that is why we're playing this instead. All right. Match 1, we're on the play. We have Rider, we have Neoform, we have 2 green cards. This hand is a snap keep. Love it. We'll play Misty Rainforest and pass the turn. Misty Rainforest from them. Watery Grave, not something I want to see in match 1. And a Preordain. Okay. The Dimir Frogtide deck is not something I actually want to face. So I'm a little bit nervous about this. They are a deck that plays Force of Negation. So my best draw here would be a Pact of Negation if I can find one. There's only 2 in the deck. So we have a Surveil here plus our draw step. This saves me a life. So do I care about the life? So let's think about this. I go to 18. And then we have Zuran Orb to bring us up to 22. So no, I don't think I care about the Gemstone Mine. Let's try to draw the Pact of Negation. We do not. Instead, we draw a Chancellor of the Tangle. All right, we'll grab the basic Forest. We'll play the Zuran Orb. Let's play the Allosaurus Rider. And we'll play Neoform. Sacrifice the Rider. Now we have a big Angry Demon. Let's draw 7. Okay, we hit the Nourishing Shoal. We'll draw 7 more. Let's play a Summoner's Pact. So I lose the game if I pass the turn. Well, in my next upkeep, I should say. Let's be a little bit more specific here. So now we will gain 15 life. And now we can Noxious Revival that Nourishing Shoal right back on top of the deck. So now I'll pay 7 more. We'll draw 7. And I know that I'm drawing into the Shoal here. Now we can Summoner's Pact again. Yes. We'll grab the other Worm. And we'll gain 15 more. And now I can exile the Ghalta because we don't need it, and I'll gain some more life. So now there's 26 cards left in our deck. Okay. I need all of my riders on the table, so I might as well play out ones where it just makes my hand smaller so that way I can see a little bit better. And now we'll draw 7, draw 7. Because we're not really going to use the 1-drops while we win. Sacrifice our lands here, gain a little bit more life. Let's draw 7 with the Griselbrand. We'll play a Shoal, exiling Generous Ent. There's 5 cards left in our deck. We can Endurance, exile an Eldritch Evolution, target myself. If you target yourself first, the Endurance sacrifices, so it shuffles itself in, which is what we want. Okay. And now we should try to play out our Riders. Exile Evolution and this Veil of Summer. I'll play a Summoner's Pact. This gets another Rider. Oh, both Riders are in there. Okay. We'll play another copy of Summoner's Pact. Yes. Grab the other Rider. There's also a Witherbloom Apprentice, so I actually, because there's still an Apprentice in the deck, we can skip the Worldspine Wurm stuff, which is kind of nice here. So we'll play another Rider, play another Rider, exile the Evolution, and now we'll play Chord of Calling. Okay. X is equal to 2. And now we'll grab the Apprentice. So now the Apprentice is on the table. And you just have to play Nourishing Shoals and Summoner's Pacts and whatnot until you win the game. So we'll draw 7. Draw 7. So this is going to leave 2 cards in our deck. Lagging a little bit here. I don't love that. I just started Magic Online. Alright, so we've successfully activated Griselbrand again, but the lag here is like insanely bad. I can't even begin to describe. So at this point, we just have to cast a bunch of spells until we win. So we'll target Neoform here with the Shoal. And it really is just like casting spells until the opponent's dead. We're going to auto-yield to this. And what's nice about the Witherbloom Apprentice loop here is it also helps you gain life to activate Griselbrand again. Alright, so Witherbloom Apprentice. We'll play Shoal. Exile the Worm. Okay. We'll play a Summoner's Pact. This will cause them to lose a life. Alright, it looks like the lag might be slightly better now. I say slightly because not entirely. We'll play Noxious Revival on Nourishing Shoal. It just doesn't matter. Okay, it looks like the lag is picking up here, which is good. I definitely wasted like 2 minutes on my clock here in a deck where I have to loop to win. I don't love that. Okay, we'll exile Disciple. We'll play Shoal, exile Chancellor of the Tangle. They're now at 10. Okay, so looks like I need to Endurance here. We'll play Endurance, exiling this. We'll target ourselves. Draw 7. We'll play a Shoal, exile. Summoner's Pact. Grab the Endurance. Summoner's Pact. Okay, nothing there. And at this point, it's kind of just mindless clicking until your opponent's dead. We'll exile Chancellor of the Tangle, target, and then hold priority here, and we'll play Endurance, target, or exile the Chord. We'll play Pact of Negation, holding priority, and then we'll Pact of Negation, the Pact of Negation, target myself. Now there's 13 cards in deck, we'll draw 7. We just have to play 3 more spells here. We'll play the Pact, grab Endurance, Pact, grab Endurance, and Noxious Revival on their Preordain. Okay, we've won game number 1 despite all of the lag. We want Pact of Negation, and I think we want the Veil of Summers. I believe you're priced into boarding out Elven Farsight here. There's only so many things that you're allowed to have in your deck, and your deck is an engine deck, so every piece is so crucial. So here you have to give up consistency, and hopefully running this list that has fetch lands for Hedge Maze helps offset the Elven Farsight loss. Or, if we're facing a blue deck, I could try boarding out the Chancellors, maybe? Down to 17 creatures, though, so that's a little sketchy. So I could try boarding in the Gemstone Caverns, even though we're on the draw. I don't know if I love that. I'm just going to board out 1 Chancellor, I think. We'll try this. Alright, so that took up 10 minutes of my clock. I definitely need to be able to win faster here in game number 2. Alright, we're on the draw. Here I've opened up a hand where we have Disciple as our land. We have Summoner's Pact to go get our Rider, and we have an Evolution. So I just need to draw lands in order for this hand to function. I think we'll keep this. This hand's a little bit sketchy, but I'm going to try it out. Watery Grave, and they just pass. Endurance. We'll play Disciple as a land, pass the turn. It is looking like the Dimir Frog Tide deck, and they play Preordain, leaving open Watery Grave, so they probably have like a Spell Pierce or a Spell Snare. They put 2 on the bottom with Preordain. Rider. What to do, what to do? I think I'm going to try playing the Rider here. We'll exile 1 Witherbloom Apprentice and Chord of Calling. I have a 2/2 creature. Let's go. They play Watery Grave untapped. We drew the Gemstone Mine. I'm going to try to bait here with the Witherbloom Apprentice. Like, we don't even care if this gets countered. And they just let it happen. So if I attack here, I could get blown out by an Orcish Bowmaster, so instead I'm going to just pass. Under City Sewers. And they kept the card on top. We find another copy of Endurance. So I could go for the win here, but it wouldn't be protected by Veil of Summer. So instead, I think I just want to chip away. And now that I have Veil of Summer up, I'm okay attacking with the Rider. They're now at 11. We will pass the turn. They have 5 lands in play, 6 cards in their hand. Fatal Push on the Apprentice. We're going to let that go. We do not care about that. I just want another land. Because then my Rider is a 4/4. It could beat up a Subtlety. Unfortunately, we're just not drawing it, though. And now my creature does trade with Orcish Bowmasters if they have Orc plus Counterspell. 4 mana. Is this a Subtlety that blows me out? Otawara. Okay. Sure. We'll replay the Rider here. Exile, Evolution, and Endurance. Pass the turn. And they just draw and pass. 5 cards remain in their hand. Another Veil of Summer. I'm actually kind of happy to see that. I wanted a land, but second Veil of Summer is not bad. They take 3 here. Oh, Visions of Beyond. They're mill? Oh, I didn't realize that they're actually just mill. Okay. They hit it for as long as they possibly could. I'm glad I have Endurance in my hand, though. Kind of wish I didn't exile the other Endurance. Pact of Negation. Attack for 3. They do not block. We will pass. What is your hand where you've just done absolutely nothing? It's got to be like all counter spells, right? And we drew the demon. No! Alright. Also, would a second land have killed me this game? Or a third land, I should say? Swing. Our opponent is now at 2. 5 mana here. They're going to Archive Trap me the hard way. We will play a Veil of Summer. We drew the land. Another Ruin Crab. They have 5 cards in their hand here. We draw another Summoner's Pact. I can't believe that I'm possibly in a spot where we're going to win by attacking the old-fashioned way with NeoBrand. It does not happen very often. Okay. We will pass the turn. Field of Ruin. Okay. We'll tap this for a green. Let's grab the basic forest. Also, basic lands on our list because we're playing the build with Genersent today, so this is looking pretty good here. Okay. What are you up to over there, opponent? Drown in the Lock. I'm going to attempt here to play Endurance. And our opponent concedes the match. Let's go. That's one way to beat Mill. And now we're 1-0 to start off this modern league. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Round number 2, we're on the play. That was an exciting first match. Let's see if this one's even better. And, well, we've opened up a turn 1 win. It doesn't get much better than that. We will keep. We'll love a good turn 1. We will reveal Chancellor of the Tangle, and it's party time. Let's go. All right, Chancellor of the Tangle. We'll play Misty Rainforest. Fetch for that basic island. We'll play Allosaurus Rider, exile Veil of Summer, and Chancellor of the Tangle. And now we'll play Neoform, sacrifice the Rider. We'll grab Griselbrand. Turn 1, baby. Alright, now we will gain 15 life. We'll Noxious Revival the Nourishing Shoal back on top of the deck. Draw 7 more. We'll exile Genersent. Let's draw some more cards. Okay. We'll play a Rider. Exile some of these cards we don't care about. Let's play another. I just want my hand to be slightly smaller. And now we'll draw some more. We'll play Summoner's Pact. Just trying to make our deck a little bit smaller here. Grab the other Rider. Play the Zuran Orb. Play a Rider. Let's draw 7 more. 16 cards left in our deck. We'll exile the Worm here. Gain a bunch. And it looks like we still have one of the... what is it called? Apprentices in our deck. So if I'm doing this to save time rather than doing the end step thing. If we Endurance now, and now I can Summoner's Pact for the 4th Rider. Yes. We'll grab the Rider, play Rider, exile Apprentice, Chord of Calling. And now we can play Chord of Calling. Grab the Witherbloom Apprentice. And from here, it's just cake. Alright, exile the Worm. And we'll exile the Disciple. There's 22 cards left on our deck. We'll play Summoner's Pact. Just cake. Grab Disciple, I guess. Play Nourishing Shoal. Exile. Slide this down here. This Endurance. That way this side of my hand will just be all lands. We'll play another Nourishing Shoal. Play a Summoner's Pact. Grab the Chancellor. Noxious Revival back a Nourishing Shoal. And now that brings us back up to 7. I can activate the Griselbrand, so now we'll have no cards left in our deck. Play the Summoner's Pact. Oh no, there's no more cards left in our deck. How could that happen? And now we will play Nourishing Shoal. Exile Chancellor. Hold priority. I'll play Pact of Negation. And now Pact of Negation, my Pact of Negation. We'll gain 7. Play Endurance, exile. And I will play Endurance, exile. This will shuffle everything back in. But the reason I'm doing both right now is I want 14 cards in my deck, so that way I can draw the entire deck. It's just a little bit easier that way. Our opponent is at 9 life. We'll play Summoner's Pact, Summoner's Pact, another Summoner's Pact, Nourishing Shoal, exile this Chord of Calling, Nourishing Shoal, exile Neoform. How is this not a Storm deck? I mean, look at it. Look at this stack. It's just a thing of beauty here. Another copy of Nourishing Shoal. We'll exile the Disciple, exile the Ghalta, and we will Pact of Negation on the first copy of Summoner's Pact here. Lovely. That was a thing of beauty. Alright, game number 2. So we have no clue what our opponent's playing, but we're on the draw. I'm going to bring in the Gemstone Caverns here. Try siding out a couple copies of Elven Farsight. And let's just submit. We don't know what else our opponent's doing, so this is all I want to do for now. So we've increased our turn 1 win percentage here. I mean, this hand is good. It's just missing land number 2. We will keep. Xander's Lounge. Okay. And there's the land. We'll play Hedge Maze. We do not need a Chancellor of the Tangle. That can go to the graveyard. And hopefully our opponent taps out for like a Renin 6 or something we don't care about. That'd be wonderful. Blooded Strand. Great Temple Garden. Well, Damping Sphere is something we care about, so that's unfortunate. I guess we can just try to beat them to death. So I could search my deck for Ghalta and then put in Worldspine Wurm. We'll put in Rider, exile, Summoner's Pact, and Noxious Revival. And I'm 1 mana short here of being able to play the Neoform, so we have to pass. I really like the idea of Ghalta into Worldspine Wurm. That seems hilarious. I hope we get to do it. Our opponent plays a Blood Crypt. Scion of Draco. Okay. We need to hope that they don't have a counterspell with the Xander's Lounge. If they do, my day is over. Breeding Pool. We'll play Breeding Pool. Neoform, sacrifice the Rider. They have the Stubborn Denial. Come on! Come on! No! Alright. They just had it all. We'll go to game 3. I realized that I could sit here and play it out, but we're not going to win coming back from that. I just need too many resources. So let's get rid of the Elven Farsights. We'll bring it into the Floodmaw. Are there any other changes? I guess we could take out the Caverns on the play. Bring in Force of Vigor. There's usually only 3 copies of Stubborn Denial. I was doing some research earlier, so I'm not sure if I want to bring in any more copies of Pact of Negation. We could try this out. On the play for game 3. We have Chancellor of the Tangle, Summoner's Pact. This hand, unfortunately, is not good enough. For a second there, I thought it didn't mulligan because this hand is essentially the same thing. We're going to go to 5. This is garbage. Like, this just isn't keepable. My. We're going all the way down to 4. It's the best hand we've seen, but I'm not loving my odds of winning now. Okay. And they have Leyline of the Guild Pact. We'll play Hedge Maze. I guess we'll keep Nourishing Shoal. I don't know. I do need green cards to pitch, and it feels bad surveilling away a card we need in order to win the game. Play the Misty Rainforest, and we'll pass. They play a Plains. Dashing a Ragavan. They hit an Allosaurus Rider! No way! Brutal! Wow! Even on a mulligan to 4, we were set up to win. That is devastating. Okay, I guess I'll fetch now? I don't know. Wow. We draw Chord of Calling. They play Flooded Strand and Territorial Kavu. And it looks like they're holding open mana, so they just might have Stubborn Denial. Another Force of Vigor. We will pass. It stinks. I feel like we missed our window with game number 2. We actually had a hand that was incredibly good, but our opponent's hand was just better. I'll take 5. I thought about playing Force of Vigor on the ley line. I just don't think it's worth it. We'll take a draw. Alright, we're dead on board now, so I'm going to concede. Basically, I need a certain amount of life in order to win with the Neoform, and if we didn't hit there, it wasn't going to happen. So, a close match. I mean, we have the nut turn 1, game 1. Game 2, we had a very, very good hand, but it fell just short. And here, even on a mulligan to 4, we showed some fight. And we actually had the turn 3 win with Allosaurus Rider if it wasn't exiled to the Ragavan that they played exactly once. So a little bit of a heartbreaker there. We're now 1-1. Let's try to win the rest. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. It's time for match number 3. We've opened up another turn 1 win. Let's go. Reveal double Chancellor of the Tangle. Our opponent revealed a Kaheera the Orphan Guard, so they're most likely a blue deck. So I could just get crushed here and, have our dreams ruined. But I want to live that turn 1 dream once again. Our opponent plays a Windswept Heath. Okay. If they have a Spell Snare or Spell Pierce, we lose the game. Force of Negation, all that stuff. But I'm not going to play around it. We're just going to go for the win. Interesting. We drew the Evolution, so we can actually beat a Spell Pierce here. Or, I'm sorry, Spell Snare here. We'll play the Misty. We'll fetch. Grab. What's the better one to grab here? Breeding Pool, maybe? And now we'll play Summoner's Pact. Looks like they have hit the F6 key, so we're good to go. We'll play the Rider, exile the 2 Chancellors, and we will Eldritch Evolution. We'll grab the Ghalta, which allows me to put Griselbrand from my hand onto the battlefield. We will draw 7. We'll now play a Summoner's Pact. I guess me grabbing the Breeding Pool is slightly silly, because I was playing Summoner's Pact. I was never getting another turn. So I shouldn't have been trying to play for another turn because it just didn't make any sense. So that's my bad. Okay. We drew a couple more Neoforms, another Shoal. We'll draw 7 more. Okay, now we'll draw 7 more down to 4 life. 20 cards left in our deck. We'll play Summoner's Pact. Grab the Worm. We'll play a Rider. Exile some cards we don't care about. And now we'll Nourishing Shoal, exiling the Worm to gain a whole bunch of life. Let's Summoner's Pact. Grab another Rider. We'll play the Rider. Exile. And then the Neoform. We have both Apprentices in our hand, so we actually have to do the other win this game with the Worm. So we'll have to go to end step and win in our end step. That's what I'm trying to say here. And there's the other Rider. We'll play Shoal, exiling Generous End. And now we'll play Rider. Exile these 2 cards we don't care about. We'll draw 7 more. We'll play Zurin Orb. 4 cards left in our deck here. We'll play the Shoal, exiling Chancellor of the Tangle. Play Endurance. Exile the Neoform. Target ourselves. We'll draw 7. Draw 7. Okay, let's gain some more life. Alright, so now I'm back up to 19. We'll play the Rider. Alright, so at this point, I'm just going to go to the end step. It's important that we discard the worm and the Witherbloom Apprentice. So the opponent's fetching. We don't care about Elegant Parlor. And now we have to go to cleanup. Okay, so now we have this Worldspine Wurm trigger on the stack. We will play Endurance, exile the Evolution. And if without the Worldspine Wurm, you never get priority here. So this is why it's important. Alright, we will target ourselves. And now we can play Chord of Calling. We'll grab Witherbloom Apprentice. And now we can play Summoner's Pact. We'll play another copy of Summoner's Pact. Auto yield to these lose life triggers. We'll grab the Worm. Grab Endurance. Play Nourishing Shoal, so now they'll lose a life. We have a ton of life here, so we'll pay 7. Draw a bunch of cards. And at this point, it's just casting spells until the opponent's dead. Okay, so this is the turn 1 win. Will Noxious Revival one of their lands on top? I don't care. We'll draw 7. Play Summoner's Pact. So this part can feel a little bit tedious, but also, like, I just like winning, so I don't mind. Play another copy of Summoner's Pact. And now we will Endurance. Target ourselves. What? Apparently I accidentally clicked OK, which I did not realize. But I can just win in their upkeep. It's not the end of the world. We'll draw 7. And 7 more. Alright, so we will play Summoner's Pact. Alright, so I'm just chaining spells at this point. Our opponent is at 3. I will Shoal here, pitching Shoal. So now they're at 2. We will play Endurance, exiling Endurance. Target ourselves. We'll draw 7. And draw 7. It took a little bit, but we got there. And that is game number 1. So we're facing a blue deck. We probably want all of the Pact of Negations. We'll bring in Veil of Summer. I don't think speed is the name of the game, so let's take out Chancellor of the Tangle. As much as I love turn 1 wins. Maybe sideboard out 1 copy of Elven Farsight. Could also bring in the Gemstone Caverns. Let's try this. Do I want 1 Chancellor of the Tangle? Alright, we'll do this instead. I just think Elven Farsight with 17 creatures is a little bit light. Game number 2, we've opened up the Singleton Griselbrand again. We do have Evolution, we have a Summoner's Pact. I think I'm going to keep this, and if we draw the Ghalta, we lose. I think that this hand is good enough, and I don't really want to send it back. We will keep. They play turn 1 Misty Rainforest, and they pass the turn. We draw the other Worm. Okay, a little bit awkward here. We'll play Gemstone Mine and pass. They search out a Meticulous Archive. They play Flooded Strand. Raise Steam Vents. Okay, I mean, this is the second time this has happened. Maybe I just need to be bringing in Into the Floodmaw in every matchup. Maybe that's on me. Because we don't have anything that beats Stamping Sphere right now. So I will concede and we'll just go to the next game. Which is unfortunate, but maybe I just need to be boarding in for Damping Sphere all the time now due to Ruby Storm. Like, I will take fault. I could be better prepared. It's just, I don't know. So we'll board out the Chancellor. Let's bring in 1 Force of Vigor. And we'll try this. On the play. This is a turn 2 win. With no protection. I mean, we'll keep it. The opponent with a quick mulligan to 5. Now down to 4. We'll play Misty Rainforest and pass. Flooded Strand. They have 4 cards in their hand. Let's fetch. I mean, my best draw here, and it's not even close, is a Pact of Negation. I'm going to choose to grab basics, because if our opponent, if this game goes long and they have Harbinger of the Seas or something similar, I want to not lose to that. So we'll grab the Forest here. Come on, Pact of Negation. Another Rider. Am I supposed to just disrespect? I mean, we conceded game 2 to a Damping Sphere, so I wouldn't be surprised if they just mulligan to it here. And they have Subtlety. Okay, so we have a win next turn. We'll put it back on top. Pass the turn. Land number 2. They have 2 cards in their hand now. So we lose to counter target spell, but there's nothing we can do about that. We'll play the Rider and jam Neoform. It resolves. We'll get the Demon. Pay 7, draw 7. Let's draw 7 more. Part of me is like, should we just pass? Rather than, I don't want to cast a Summoner's Pact. I don't want to introduce possible risk here. So we'll play a Rider, exile Evolution, and a Neoform. And now we'll play another Rider, exile Summoner's Pact and Chord of Calling. We'll play Breeding Pool untapped, going to 3. And next turn I can just play a land, and then we have 18 damage on the board. They grab an Elegant Parlor, gets rid of Cavern of Souls. I realized that I could have played this a little bit more risky. I guess one thing I could have done is I could have exiled 1 Veil of Summer, so that way if for some reason they try to like deal me 3 with a Flage or a Lightning Helix or something, I could gain more than 1 life off a Veil of Summer. But I don't want to have to cast Summoner's Pact when I have 3 lands. That was my thought process. Okay. A 3rd Veil of Summer. We'll play Hedge Maze, so now our creatures deal lethal. We'll leave this on top of the deck. And now we'll just attack for 18. Swing, baby, swing. Boom. 2-1. If you're still watching, make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. We are on the play for match number 4. Okay, so we have Rider, we have Evolution. This is a turn 3 win. Yeah, let's keep it. I don't know what the opponent's playing, but if it's Energy or something, this hand's incredible. We have not faced Energy yet, which is the most popular deck in Modern by a wide margin, so I wouldn't mind a pretty easy matchup here, or at least for game number 1. Our opponent just said they're actually watching my Cycle Storm video right now from today. I love that. Alright, we're going to play Gemstone Mine and pass the turn. Undercity Sewers, you gotta be kidding me. Come on, I want an easy matchup. Not to cry myself to sleep. Let's go. Come on, Neoform. Ding. We're going for it. Rider, exiling Evolution, and Disciple. And then we'll play Neoform, sacrificing the Rider. They have Force of Negation. Come on. Brutal. Not great. So we at least need to stick around and make sure they're actually on Frogtide. We draw another we draw another Neoform. Preordain. When I was looking at lists earlier, the Frogtide decks only have 2 Force of Negation main deck, or at least most of them do. So the fact that our opponent had one here makes me a little bit sad. Okay. We draw a land. Doesn't help me here. We'll play it and pass. If it was a green card, we could have gone for another win. They play a land. Okay. Cling to Dust. So it's not Frogtide. They have 4 cards. I mean, we can, in theory, just disrespect and go. I don't know if we're supposed to wait around for like a Pact of Negation. It doesn't seem like the best move. I don't want the other green card to be another Nourishing Shoal. Like, we need our Nourishing Shoals to win. I'm going to surveil this away. Okay, if they have another counterspell here, I'm going to concede. We'll grab the Rider, play Rider, and Neoform. Don't have it. Come on. Spell Snare. Alright. No fun. Off to the next one. I mean, that was 2 win attempts. That's not bad. We'll bring in Veil of Summers. I guess I'm supposed to bring in Flood Maws after the previous 2 matches. Get rid of the Elven Farsight. Get rid of Chancellor of the Tangle. That's 59. So I could bring in 1 card. Maybe it's just Force of Vigor. Let's try this. On the play for game 2. It's an unprotected turn 3. Am I really supposed to mulligan that? We'll keep. Misty Rainforest, pass the turn. Turn 1, Preordain. So if we draw a Neoform, I will just go for the win. Like, if they have Force of Negation, they have it. We will fetch, grab the Hedge Maze, and surveil 1. Rider. We'll keep that. So now our Summoner's Pact could just be land number 3, but I don't have a win here. We will pass the turn. They just play land and pass. There's our third land. So I could go off unprotected, or we can try to wait for a Veil of Summer or Pact of Negation, something like that. They grab an Undercity Sewers. Puts Polluted Delta to the graveyard. Watery Grave. Pact of Negation. Okay. So I would play Rider here, exile Summoner's Pact, and probably the Worm, and we'd have to win without the Worm. Let's try Evolution. So Spell Snare is not a live counter here. They play Counter Spell. I will play a Pact of Negation. They play Cling to Dust. Okay, I don't care about that. Evolution. Looks like it resolves. We'll grab Griselbrand. Play Zern Orb. Let's party. Exile the Worm. And now we'll Summoner's Pact again. Go grab the other Worm. Exile that. Draw 7. Play Rider. Exile these. Draw 7. There's one Apprentice, which is a little awkward because ideally I could Chord of Calling before we draw the other one and then win that way. We'll draw 7 more. All right, exile the Tyrant. So now we could play this Rider, exile Neoform, Neoform. I don't believe I've drawn Endurance yet, so I could get back the Rider in the graveyard. I have not. So let's draw 7. I drew the other. Okay, so we're going to have to pass the turn here. I don't have a choice. So we'll play Rider, exile Neoform, and Force of Vigor. I'm not really sure. Maybe I should just draw 7 more. Instead of exiling cards that I could gain more life from. Alright, we'll play the Rider, exile Neoform, and Evolution. We'll play Endurance, exile a Veil of Summer. Target myself. We'll play the Shoal, exile Disciple. So I still need the other Rider, so we have to draw 7 here. I did not draw it, so we'll play Summoner's Pact. Grab the Rider. Play the Rider. Exile Evolution and a Veil of Summer. Alright, so now we're finally ready to win. So we'll move to discard. Alright, so now we're in their upkeep. We will play Chord of Calling. Actually, no, I have to play Endurance first. So now we'll Endurance. Target myself. And now the Endurance trigger. Alright, so we did not get punished by a Consigned to Memory there. And now we'll play Chord of Calling. We'll grab the Apprentice. Let's draw 7. User and Orb will sacrifice some lands here. And we'll draw 7 more. Play Summoner's Pact. We'll grab Endurance. And at this point, it's just looping until we win. We'll draw 7 more. Alright, and the opponent concedes. Thank you, opponent. I do appreciate it. And now we're going to game 3. I feel like I got pretty lucky to win game 2 here. Hopefully we can pull off a miracle in the 3rd game. So I could bring in the Gemstone Caverns, but I don't think I want to just like peanut butter and jam. And if I did that, I'd be boarding out the Force of Vigors, I think. It's either that or like Disciple or Generous Ent, and I'm not sure if I want to do that. I suppose I could try boarding out Gemstone Mines, but then my colors could be bad. I'm going to just submit. So here we just have the turn 2 Apprentice. I could try Beatdown. Hopefully they keep a hand that's just like counter spells and then we attack for lethal. Alright. They're at 17 already. Witherbloom Apprentice Beatdown. Here we go. Play Misty Rainforest. Undercity Sewers. Sure. They kept the card on top. End step, we will fetch with the Misty Rainforest. And we'll grab our Hedge Maze. Surveil. I don't think I want Into the Floodmaw. Chord of Calling. Oh, I didn't play the black land, you idiot. Why would I do that? I even said I was going to play turn 2 Witherbloom Apprentice, and then I just didn't do it. I am the worst. They play Preordain. One on top, one on the bottom. Pact of Negation. We'll play the Gemstone Mine. Witherbloom Apprentice. Is this really going to get a counterspell? I would love that. Stern Scolding, sure. We will pass. Land number 4, they have 5 cards in their hand. Harbinger of the Seas. So that will shut me off of, what is it called? Eldritch Evolution, but Neoform still wins. But now we're drawing to 4 specific cards in the deck. We'll play our island and pass. So the mana-based choice working out right now. But the question is, can I draw exactly Neoform? Another Pact of Negation. Not the worst. They attack for 2, we'll go to 15. They have 5 cards in their hand. We will pass. Okay. A third Pact of Negation. Well, if I ever draw Neoform, we're definitely comboing off. I think I'm just going to discard Endurance. Archmage's Charm to draw 2. Okay. They drew their basic Swamp. I don't want to see that. That was not good. Alright, so now they attack. I'll go to 11. Into Psychic Frog. So time is running out. Please, deck, give me Neoform. Another Nourishing Shoal. Ah, brutal. Alright, we will exile Chord of Calling. Pass the turn. They discard Polluted Delta. Undercity Sewers. And I will take 5, going down to 9. So they have lethal next turn. Here we go. Another Gemstone Mine. We'll play the land and pass. They have 5 damage coming in. They have 7 cards in hand. Polluted Delta. Shoot the Sheriff. I don't even know what that is. Destroy target non-outlaw creature. Surgical Extraction. And another Surgical. Wow, their deck is very hateful. So all I can do here is gain 2 life, and then they just discard 2 more cards. So we are dead. Bummer. Alright, we're now 2-2. With Card Hoarder, renting your favorite combo deck has never been easier. There isn't a more affordable solution for Magic Online. Want to play the deck in this video? Check out the pinned comment below to easily rent the deck from Card Hoarder. Did you know you can rent the Epic Storm from Card Hoarder for as little as 7 tickets a week? The 5th and final round, we're on the play. Hopefully we face a non-blue deck for once. Okay, so this hand is only missing the Allosaurus Rider. We'll keep. And something that hasn't really come up in this video until now is Chancellor of the Tangle makes green mana on turn 1. That works very well with both Elven Farsight and the Generous End. So we're going to cycle this Generous End now. Go grab the Hedge Maze, and then we'll play it. The Ghalta. I don't think we want that. Pass the turn. Hers is mine. So finally a non-blue deck, or at least so I hope, and we rip the Summoner's Pact. It's time to boogie. Alright. Summoner's Pact. We'll grab a Rider. We'll play it, exile the Elven Farsight and Veil of Summer. Play Neoform. Go grab the big scary demon. Draw 7. No copies of Nourishing Shoal there, so we'll draw 7 more. And we hit 1, that's good. But we did not hit a Summoner's Pact or any large mana creatures. So we can gain 6 or 7. That's it. So it's just another draw 7 here. Exile the Chancellor. Alright, still, praying here. Draw 7. We hit the Summoner's Pact. We hit a Shoal. There we go. So now we will search our deck for the Worm. And we will gain 15. We will put the Shoal back on top. And now we'll draw some more. Let's play out the Rider. Let's try to make our hand a little smaller here. We hit another Rider. We'll play it. Exile this and some other card. I don't know. Neoform. Have I drawn both apprentices yet? That is a question that I'm wondering here. I think the answer might be yes. There's one and there's the other. So yeah, I've drawn them both, unfortunately. So we do have to use the Worm in order to win. Let's draw 7 and 7. We'll play Zurin Orb. We'll Endurance. Gotta put the Rider back in if we want to win. Gain a little bit more life. Play Summoner's Pact. Go grab the Rider. Play 1. And now we'll play the final one. Okay. So I don't have the Worm in my hand, but I can search for it here with the Summoner's Pact. We'll grab the Worm. And now we'll go to end step. Discard the Worm. Discard the Apprentice. Bunch of lands. Okay, so the Worm trigger is now on the stack. I probably should have kept a card that costs less for this, because now I'm exiling a 6 mana value spell that I didn't really want to do. Okay. Not the end of the world. We'll be okay. So now we can play Chord of Calling, and we have the Apprentice. Alright, we're at 4, so now we'll just start playing the Nourishing Shoals. Auto yield. Okay. We'll play a Summoner's Pact. Grab the Worm. We can let these resolve. So now I have 14 cards left in my deck, and I can just draw them all here. We'll play another Shoal. Exile the Worm. Play another Summoner's Pact. There's nothing left in our deck. Oh no. Surprise, surprise. And at this point, it's just casting spells. Anyone could do this. It's not very difficult. And now that we've run out of things, we'll play Endurance, target ourselves, and the opponent concedes. Thank you, opponent. All right, so now we're going to game number 2 versus what I believe to be Tron. We're going to want Gemstone Caverns here. I still want the Pact of Negation. Things like Kozilek's Command could be an issue. It just doesn't hurt to have. And then we want Into the Flood Maw and probably Force of Vigor. Board out the Elven Farsight. We probably don't need the Veil of Summer. That can get out of our deck. And that leaves me at 61. So if we're bringing in 2 lands, I could just try to shave a land here. Like maybe 1 copy of Gemstone Mine. That seems reasonable to me. So we have a Chancellor. We don't have a way to get Generous Ent or a Neoform effect. So we will take a mulligan. Is this a turn 1? Hold up. This might be a turn 1. So I can Gemstone Caverns, Chancellor, play land. I think I'd have to draw a green card. This might be a turn 1, but it requires me drawing a green card. We'll bottom the Witherbloom. They have Devoured Destiny, so I'll first reveal the Chancellor and then Gemstone Caverns. And we will exile the Chancellor. So any green card off the top, we have a turn 1 win. I would love to get 3 turn 1 wins in a video. I feel like that would be very good for what the clicks. The clicks are why I do this. Let's go. Yours is mine. Expedition map. Come on, deck. Pretty please give me a green card. Please. Let's see it. There we go. Turn 1. We'll grab a forest. We'll play the rider. Exile, exile. And sacrifice the rider. Let's go. I love it. We'll grab Griselbrand. Play Zuran Orb. Draw 7 more. I did not hit a Shoal. Our opponent says the fabled turn 1 NeoBrand win. Yeah, I mean, I don't exactly have it yet. Sacrifice the forest. Sacrifice the caverns. Let's draw 7. And our next card was a Shoal, so we've got it now. We'll gain 15. Okay, we'll draw 7. Draw 7. Let's start playing out more riders. We drew the other Apprentice, that's okay. We'll exile the... Hold on, I should see if we've drawn the other Worm. We have not. But I will exile the Ghalta anyway. We'll gain 7. Our opponent says, GG's! GG's opponent! We got the 3-2. I mean, we had one, like, easily favorable match in this whole thing, and it was the last one. Every other match was a blue deck. So even with that, we went 3-2. I feel like this new list is the real deal. It felt very good to me. I think if you expected a lot of blue decks, you'd want to find room in the main deck for the 3rd copy of Pact of Negation, but this is what I would recommend. It felt extremely strong. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful day, and as always, keep storming. Hey you, yeah you, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it, and if you're interested, you can visit theepicstorm.com/donation-decks to see your combo deck here on this very YouTube channel. You can even join me in a video in the Epic tier. It's totally worth it, I promise. And see ya. Thanks for watching.